Many of you guys recognize this boat right here. What is about to happen is going to be about as much of a surprise to me as it is to you, because this boat, I cannot remember the last time I've ran this engine. Probably at least 5 months. We're gonna trim her down and see if she'll start. The Stratus, the VMAX, she always starts. Let's see. See how cold this engine is. Oh, good God. That sounds like dead battery to me. Well, can't exactly say that was a good sound. The jumper cables are not in here, which is also not a good sound. I just bought a new truck, as you guys know, so I don't have jumper cables in there. So there's no way to charge that battery. Because I don't have a 3-bank charger, I have a 2-bank charger, which means it only charges those 2 trolling motor batteries when it plugs in. The main cranking battery is charged by the big motor, but when you don't run the big motor for months on end, that battery tends to be a little weak, as we're seeing right now, because there's gas in it and it's not starting. But it's okay, we're fishing a really small river, so even if we can't use the engine, we will still catch a lot of fish. I'm up here in Michigan, and the smallmouth hunt is continuing. I'm meeting up with my buddy Ben Noack, which you guys have seen me fish with plenty of times, seen Peric, John, Rob fish with a lot. Absolute smallmouth master here in Michigan. He's gonna meet me in like 3 hours, but I need to figure out this first. There's one. Where's a nice one? Pretty much my second cast. Look at that fish. Haha. All right, our first fish of the day. Oh, he is cold, cold, cold. Not a bad fish to start the day. He absolutely T-boned it, even though the water's 48. All right. What I caught that fish on is an absolute dynamite crankbait. You guys have probably seen these if you watch Ben Milliken. So I will talk more about this bait as the video goes on. It is a Cloud 9 C10. It dies 8 to 12 foot depending on the diameter line you're using. But that is the first fish. Hopefully there's going to be many more with that bait. Again, Ben's gonna meet us in a couple hours right here anyway, so I don't wanna move from the ramp too bad, but I literally caught that fish 10 yards from the boat ramp, which is a damn good start. There's one. It's swimming at me so fast. Another one on that Cloud 9. All right, this bait is going to, wow, this one just barely swiped at it. Look at that, just barely swiped at it. Those are some damn good stock hooks on here. I can get a ton of bites as long as I keep out of the leaves. That's gonna be the biggest challenge. There's one. Oh, he's bigger. He's bigger. Oh, that is a nice fish. This might be close to a 4-pounder. All right. What a beautiful little river bass. Not quite 4 pounds. It is so amazing when a plan comes together. I was just in Canada for 3 days and then spent a day or two down in Ohio. My original plan was I was gonna go up to northern Michigan, but the lakes are just too cold up there right now. All the fish are gonna be super deep, and I really wanted to catch fish on these crankbaits. So what do? We drive a couple hours into Michigan and we find a river just chock full of hungry smallmouth. There's one. All right, there's another. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, just talk to that boat right there that's pulling out. We have 45-degree water temperatures. Oh, yep. There goes the hook in the pants. Okay, another nice little river bass. I've only moved maybe 50 yards from the ramp. I'm really restricted. Ben was supposed to just hop in my boat, but since he's still at work, I might tell him to grab his boat because we're not really moving far in mine. Is this a fish? Oh my God, I had a snag and I popped it off and I caught one. Ha! That's funny. It's not exactly big, but I've done that plenty of times in my life. Whenever you guys are snagged, whether it be a log, a rock, snagged on anything. Oh, please don't get a hook in me. Spicy smallmouth and treble hooks are not a good combination. Whenever you get that snag out, work your lure pretty slow, because a lot of times, just like any other bite, when the fish are staring at whatever you have snagged, whether it be a crankbait, worm, jig, I don't care what it is, when that jolts off the snag, a lot of times fish will react and just snap at it. I have still barely moved from the ramp. Ben is gonna come here in, I think, like an hour. We'll have to do a challenge and spice it up a little bit with him, because this is super, super, super self-explanatory fishing. You throw a 6 cents crankbait at them and you catch fish. They're all in the middle of this river and they're very, very hungry, because they know in about 3 weeks the Michigan winter is going to shut the door on them and they're going to be freezing their asses off and not eating much. So they got to eat now. The biggest thing that's impressing me about this bait right now is that fish obviously ate it well, like most are, just absolutely T-boning it. A couple have swiped at it though, and that's one of the biggest problems I have with a lot of crankbaits on the market. The stock hooks are so bad. I mean, it's very, very, very popular to replace the hooks on your crankbaits, and that says enough that most crankbaits have pretty terrible hooks. But these hooks are awesome, awesome, sticky, sharp, perfect little triple grips there. Bait's already getting some nice teeth marks on it. Reinforcements have arrived. My buddy Ben finally came. My trolling motor batteries died to the point where I couldn't even do anything. So I just hopped in the boat with him, and he lives really close here, so I just said, hey, can you bring your boat, please? Because I'm a terrible boat owner and don't use my boat for 6 months and then expect it to perform like a normal boat. Do you want to do some sort of competition, like biggest fish?
Yeah, we'll do biggest fish, first fish, and most fish.
Okay, what kind of points are we attributing to each little criteria here?
The biggest fish is 2 points.
Okay.
Most fish is 2 points, and first fish is 1 point.
I can do that. Let's do it. Well, there's one. Well, that's a nice one, dude. It's staying down. It's heavy. They're all in the middle of the river. It's so weird. Most of the fish I've been catching have been like 1 pound to 2 pounds, so it's bigger than that. It ain't bad. Well, that's a tubby one, dude. Oh, that's too big to boat flip with how much I've been hitting rocks with my line.
Whoa!
It's like a 3-pounder.
That's a good fish, dude.
Nice and fat. Dude, every single fish I've been catching on this crankbait has been getting both hooks, just destroying it. This fish would not have been made possible without Mr. Benjamin Nowak, because had I gone just this 1/4 mile down the river, I would not have made it home. Another one?
Thanks.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Good work, dude.
That's a nice fish. You got another. That's a nice one, dude. I'm gonna switch to this slipless crankbait because I can't stand breaking off any more lures.
Both hooks, too.
They love that. That's a 6 cent square bill, right?
Yeah, movement.
The movement. Oh, look at how he ate that, dude.
Crushed it.
Ooh. Yeah, twice. God. Nope, that's a snag this time. Damn it. Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of How Many Crankbaits Can I Lose in a 15-minute Span? I'm gonna go to that swank just because it's gonna deflect off stuff. That was not the most intelligent move of me when I'm getting snagged on things to go to a lipless crankbait. You're just gonna let me figure it out on my own?
Well, make a couple times.
I got it. Okay, we're gonna go to that bait. It's nice and heavy. Want me to net him? You got a net?
As big as I thought it would be.
We're just strong.
So. Yeah, look at that though. That's a big fish.
We kind of messed up the point system. The only way for you to win is to catch a bigger fish now.
No,
I could
first fish was
1, and then big fish
yeah.
and number is both 2. So I could sit on my ass the whole time. I could sit on my ass the whole time and do nothing. Well, before I was literally like,
oh,
well, there you go.
I was going to lift my bait out of the water.
Dude, they're chasing it to the surface.
Ate it too. Like, his mouth shut.
Yeah, let me show my camera. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
That is how
They're so
aggressive these
aggressive.
fish are eating it. You're using a square bill.
And
If
I
you
was gonna
keep
lift
crushing
my
them on
bait
that,
up.
I might have to borrow one from you. I'm
fine.
sure you got plenty.
I do have 1 or 2.
There is a couple
That's
in
a
there.
problem. I have like a, I don't want to say tackle addiction, but I have a lot of bait.
You wouldn't call it a tackle addiction, but I'm sure your fiance would.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, that fish is swimming so fast.
Get it so hard. How's it going, guys? Yeah.
There's quite a few.
Dude, they just caught 3. That's crazy.
Walleyes.
So many fish.
It's interesting. So those guys that are fly fishing, they're just absolutely hammering walleye and smallmouth. But they said that they've been catching fish that are spitting up shad. So I think these fish are just eating everything, because what I'm throwing is just a pure crayfish imitation that's grinding the bottom. It's brown. It's blending into the bottom, and they're just hammering it. Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, like, ooh, right there. Fish for the first time. I was just telling Ben how one day if I go move to the south, I would miss smallmouth fishing way too. Oh, did I lose him? I did. Wow. I fought that crankbait for a good 10 seconds. Well, what I was saying is that I'd see people at the ramp in northern Michigan. They'd be from like Texas, all that. And they'd be used to like in Texas, clear water is like 6-foot visibility, not like 40.
Fish was coming so fast towards me, I didn't even know I had a fish on.
That's why I was fighting the crankbait. I just assumed he was swimming at me.
That's crazy. But yeah, dude, like...
I was just telling Ben, you know the bite's good when you're getting really jittery and antsy because you're retying? It just makes it way worse when your buddy's catching them. I broke off again. Shocker. That is a nice one.
That's a solid fish right there.
It's a little shallower. So we're going with the curve. Got one. Shit, oh no, I didn't lose them. They cut like a knife in the current, dude. Wow, I got the little pipsqueak. I tied on the small pipsqueak crankbait and caught the small pipsqueak fish.
They did start pulling current over there.
And he showed me so many pictures of giant. Ooh, there's a good one, dude. That's a good one. I can't move him. He's fighting so different. I like lost him because he swims so fast with the current. Oh, dude, that's a big one.
Giant, dude.
That's a big one. I could tell the second he hit it. Dude, he's got the crankbait just down his throat.
That's a big fish, dude. Don't.
No, look at this. Hold on.
I thought you were gonna boat flip.
Dude, that's a huge fish for this little river. What?
That was a giant one.
I didn't know they got that big in here. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably a 4-pounder. That's probably a 4-pounder. Look at how he choked that crankbait.
Take a picture?
Yeah, definitely. These 6 cents crankbaits are so money, dude. It's unbelievable. They just have such a unique action. Like, for me trying to explain this to you guys, it's really hard to describe. You just have to use one and see in person. They're just such incredible little baits. We took a couple photos with this beauty. I have been absolutely spoiled these last couple trips with big smallmouth. That is like a huge river fish. Like a 4-pound fish in a little river like this. That was badass. Thank you, man. These baits are killer, man. The little perch color. I don't even know if there's perch in here. I just more so think it's something that's got a really great action if they're keying in on the bottom. They're choking it, dude. The amount that have both hooks and the bait just right in their mouths. Ooh, so good. And meanwhile, Ben's in a log. Is it cedar or is it oak?
I actually think it's ash. It's a big old ash tree.
Okay, very cool.
Don't transport wood though, folks.
I think that's all she wrote.
That's the end of it. You beat me.
You caught way more fish, but I definitely caught bigger fish, and I caught the first fish. Thanks to our screwed up point system.
It's okay. We'll know for the next time. Point system is not going to be so dumb.
You have learned from your mistakes. Yeah. All right, so it is now a couple days later, and I wanted to wrap up this video by talking to you guys more about the crankbait that I caught pretty much all my fish on. Now, this is a 6 cents crankbait. The specific model is the C10 from the Cloud 9 series, and this bait was an absolute dynamite crankbait in this day of fishing. Now, if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know I'm really not a big finesse fisherman. Smallmouth are my favorite fish in the whole wide world to catch. And I don't like drop shotting them. I don't like fishing them with a tube jig. I like throwing crankbaits. I like throwing jerk baits, spitter baits, topwater. That's how I like catching smallmouth. Smallmouth are a very aggressive species of fish, and especially in the fall when you got those lower 50 to upper 40 degree water temps, they're going suicidal eating baits. As you saw, so many fish today had these baits just choked in their mouths with both hooks and everything. But the fish won't just eat everything. They're going to be keyed into a very specific type of prey, and this bait did an absolute dynamite job of imitating crawfish today. The two biggest things I think were key about this crankbait, number one was the action. This has a very unique action to it. And the hooks. The hooks are so sticky sharp. They're better than pretty much any other crankbait I've used that also just comes with their stock hooks. The stock hooks in this thing are absolute money. Now, 6th Sense has absolutely exploded in growth the last couple years, and if you try one of the baits, I think you'll see why. They started in Texas, so most of you largemouth guys are already on the program, but you smallmouth guys up north, if you like catching them cranking like I do, I would definitely give these things a try, and I think you'll be shocked at how well they worked. I mean, the action spoke for itself in today's video. They were all over this bait. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. I'm going to try to film a couple more smallmouth videos, but Mother Nature is pretty much slamming the door shut. It's a very quick fall. Things are happening very quickly. As you see, we've got like 35-degree, like windy, rainy today. It's not the best weather, but after that, I'm going to go to Florida, and then I'm going to go on a big epic road trip and show you guys this truck that I bought and all the cool features of it. So that's what's going on in my life. Thank you to each and every one of you for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one.